Today is September 16th, 2023. Have a lot of stuff to think about lately. And while it's sad, it's also empowering. Because we need to find strength in pain, in hurt. We can't let anything put us down just because people don't understand us, people disrespect us, people don't reciprocate. We are not responsible for other people's superficiality. And that has taken me a very, very long time to understand. I always thought it was somehow my fault that I'm not doing enough, that I need to prove myself over and over and over, again and again, opening myself up to disappointments, to heartache, to resentment. Because, let's be honest, we get very resentful. I'm trying to think when in my life I felt resentment. But you see, for me it's very hard to do that. I have a tendency to block out things that I don't like. And while that seemed to be working for me, get me from point A to B, from B to C, and so on, I was actually making a grave mistake. Because that's where you have a tendency to repeat the same mistakes all over again. And that's because the lesson you were taught, by blocking it, you failed to apply what you learned from it. So, as hard as it is to face facts, you need to do it. And it is painful, on top of the pain you already feel. However, it's liberating, because you are seeing clearly, or maybe not that clearly, considering that you are in pain, you're suffering, you're this and that. The point is, you need to face it. You need to assess. You need to decide. What is it that I need to do from now on? Like, you went through this certain situation, and somehow you persisted in that situation just because maybe you felt like you weren't doing enough, you weren't proving yourself enough, or because these other people involved in the situation had their own problems, and you would understand, you would have empathy, you would find excuses for them. The truth, the hard truth is, you can't make excuses for anyone, not even for yourself. You're making excuses for yourself. It implies that you are weak. You need to take responsibility. The onus is on you. Whatever happens in your life, in the end, the onus is on you. It's true, there are certain things, well, the majority of things happening in this world and the way it's constructed, the way it's built, you don't have much control because someone has done their absolute best to leave you with no choices. But in fact, you do have choices. You have the choice of not participating in a futile game, in someone else's game. I don't know, to me, for instance, it's been obvious for quite a while the humanity is being discontinued. And the perversity of calling everything smart is mind-blowing. Because it's nothing but. Like this inversion of terms constantly should put us on our guard. Like, I don't know, but lately, the minute I hear the word smart, I'm like, oh no, not that again. Makes you think, what does it stand for? SMART. I'm trying to think, what does it stand for? Because it's obviously not for being smart. It's for someone being submissive. For somebody being manipulated. For someone being annihilated. For someone who's being reformed. For someone who's being terminated. There you have it. Smart. But back to what I was talking about. We have to take accountability. First and foremost, of our actions, of our experiences, and applying what we have learned in our future experiences. I was talking to someone recently about AI. And for me, it's always been very puzzling because it is associated with intelligence, when in fact, it's nothing but. It's not intelligent. It's not spontaneous. It's not dealing well with unpredictability. You know, this makes me think of work and how stats are being created. Oh, they're looking at how long it takes for this and that. Oh, but wait a minute, you can multitask. And on paper, they see how you can multitask doing 5 jobs in one. They're not looking at how much time is spent when a person is multitasking and they're making a serious mistake that takes a lot longer to fix than if it was to be done properly. You focus on one job, on one task. You give it your focus. You give it your attention. So maybe me thinking, associating intelligence, artificial intelligence with statistics, maybe it's not quite that far off. Statistics are not intelligent. Statistics are deceiving. Sometimes they are deceiving on purpose to create a sense of majority, which I find hilarious also, because the minority seems to have the voice more and more in our lives, like a train that's passing by. Yeah. So back to what I wanted to say. You need to assess everything. It may sound difficult, and it probably is, because we are too tired from our daily responsibilities, things that we have to do, just so you can breathe and have a shelter and some food on the table. But we have to try to do that. I call that Project Me. Yes, me, despicable me. Why? Because you are here to learn some things. You learn how to walk through deceit and not become deceitful yourself. Just because it is a trend, you do not follow because it is a trend. You're not going to start lying, stepping over other people just because it's trendy. I feel that integrity is what people are losing in their lives, along with knowing how to love unconditionally without being taken advantage of. We need to learn what unconditional love is. The animals give us unconditional love, but we care for those animals. So maybe it's not quite that unconditional, is it? It's all about energy, exchange of energy, and input of energy, or lack of input of energy. I feel we have to focus in these lives that we have on staying strong in your truth. And that starts with yourself. It starts with being honest with yourself. I'm not saying it's not hard to do that, but it's so worth it. You put everything into a balance. the bad and the good. And how did you fare through those experiences that were imposed on you, that you created yourself out of desire of proving yourself to a society that more and more shows you that you're irrelevant, that you're no longer needed, that you're being discontinued. It is a game. We have to understand how it is played. What is the end goal? Who benefits? And we have to realize that without our participation, this game would not exist. So apparently there's the next supermoon. We are dealing with another supermoon. I think we need to examine our lives. Whatever way it's easy for you, go from recent events to past events. Recent events and see if that happened before, and you'll notice there was a trend. In my life, I tend to give everything. I don't do half measures. I'm a Scorpio. I don't do half measures. Therefore, I should never accept half measures from anyone. It's all about energy, input, output. My output is huge. What I receive in return is insignificant. And that is not okay. And that needs to change. And it's not about being selfish at all. But when you are in a position in which you are completely depleted by vampires, energy vampires, people who disrespect you, who disconsider you, who think that somehow you can do more for them. We have to stop doing that. We have to stop being taken for granted, being abused and minimalized by some indeed selfish individuals, arrogant. We are individuals. We have to be who we are. We don't need to prove ourselves to anyone. I think we proved ourselves over and over again through our actions. You talk the walk, you walk the talk. Yeah. Why do you need to prove anything to anyone? Take back your energy this super full moon. See where you're wasting your time, your energy and focus on yourself. You let yourself go. Why? Service to others? No. You cannot be of service to others when you are in disrepair, when you need attention. Your body, your mind, your spirit, your soul, they all need attention. Because we're not just flesh and bones and skin. We are so much more. I didn't really touch upon what I wanted to say, but the main idea is we need to be truthful with us, with ourselves, and face even those things that we try to shove under the carpet. You can't do that. Those pebbles will hurt your feet. Those banana peels will make you slip on the floor and hurt you even more. So go back as far as you need to and assess. I love you all. Take care.